post on X from Alderman Brian Hopkins, who's of course one of the downtown aldermen, and this is the alderman speaking here, so that's who we're attributing this to. He has posted a tweet or on X, 300 juveniles, he says, rioting in the Loop now. At least 5 victims have been shot, 1 critical with life-threatening gunshot wound to the torso. Multiple police officers attacked and injured with mace and stun guns. At least 1 police officer has been hospitalized. That's according to downtown Alderman Brian Hopkins, who has been very vocal, Rob and Cheryl and Trey, about the need to have new rules of engagement for the Chicago police in terms of how they can deal with youth and how they can deal with large gatherings of youth that happen, as Cheryl, as you say, when the weather gets nice. And it became quite a political story not just a few months ago. Brian Hopkins, one of the big advocates for allowing the police to have much more flexible rules, ability to declare a riot, declare an unpeaceful situation, and to clear people out. So these numbers that he's talking about are a lot bigger than we had heard earlier before. He's saying 5 people injured, shot, I should say, at least 1 with life-threatening wounds.
Late Friday night last night, 300 juveniles took over downtown Chicago. 5 people were shot. All of this happening a week before Thanksgiving. You even see a senior citizen couple who are trying to find a way to stay safe and get out of the way of possible gunfire. And yet, Brandon Johnson keeps bragging about this being the safest summer in the last 60 years. I'm sure he did not anticipate that you'd have an uncharacteristically warm weekend in late November and that something like this would happen. If this is his version of safety, imagine what happens next. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, jump in the comments, turn on your notification bell. You know, every Friday I do a terrestrial radio show in Chicago, and at the end of every show, I say this.
We've still got a little bit of nice weather. Let's try to get through one weekend in the city of Chicago where we don't have a black person kill another black person.
I say that every Friday. That's the last thing I say on my show. Let's try to get through one weekend without a shooting, without a killing. And like I said, it's November. It's 1 week before Thanksgiving, and you had this happen last night. The mayor just keeps trying to push this narrative like everything is safe, everything is working. Just take a look at what else happened after that initial video we just showed you.
Conversation about the curfew between the mayor and the superintendent and the alderman, and that discussion was a constant discussion, and I'm sure this will become a very much needed topic once again. If he says he saw or he's getting information that 300 young people, and at 9:45 tonight, and I went to Rob's office, I went out into the newsroom and I said, you guys, something is happening downtown, not sure if it's a teen takeover, and everybody started researching on their phone to see if they had any information, if there was some kind of meetup, because it started to get violent, and then 5 minutes later, that's when the gunshots were fired.
And we saw these teen takeovers over the summer. They dissipated over the fall. Now we want to play an audio clip. None of us have heard this. Ravi, Cheryl, and me have been here with breaking news coverage, but I'm told this is the moment the gunshots rang out. Let's watch and listen. Yeah, there it was. So we were talking about this, 4 to 5. There it is again.
You know, Ryan is all the way at the north end of the building in the sports department on the 3rd floor, and his office and the sports department is right next to the L tracks. He said he turned at about 9:52. He looked at his producer, Mike Johnson, and said, those, I think, were gunshots.
So take a look at this senior citizen couple right here. They're trying to get out of the way. They're just coming out, trying to have a nice time. And they're just caught out here in the middle of just foolishness with these teenagers who just can't go out and have a nice time. And of course, Brandon Johnson comes out this morning in his press conference. You don't have to guess. I'll give you 3 guesses, but you'll only need 1 on how he characterized what happened last night.
Becoming comfortable, becoming now uncomfortable coming downtown, because my feel is that people had kind of gotten comfortable again coming downtown. They weren't worried about some of these teen takeovers. what are your concerns and what are you putting in place to try to address any potential issues that may occur tonight?
Yeah. Well, whether it's our lights festival, our tree lighting, or any other event, we're always preparing to ensure that we protect people. And I was at the tree lighting last night. It was an incredible event, a joyous event, and it is, quite frankly, frustrating and quite upsetting when this type of violence takes place, because it does engender and evoke fear. So we will have a strong police presence. We'll have stronger control over how traffic flows, because there was so much energy downtown. It made it difficult for our police officers to move around, right? And so we'll make those adjustments with more officers in place that have far more nimbleness to get around the traffic, because again, that was one of the challenges as these gatherings took place and as they begin to metastasize. It was very difficult for law enforcement to move. So we'll make that adjustment. There'll be community violence intervention workers there as well. And I want to continue to compel all adults who have responsibility for children. You have to know where they are, because these handful of bad actors have caused disruption for a city that clearly has rebounded. Right. We have more activity downtown. We have more activity throughout our communities, because our communities have been becoming safer.
Even after this event just took place, less than 12 hours later, he wants to get up and talk about how safe the city is. You just had another story of a woman who was walking her kids home and she got jumped by a bunch of elementary school teachers. You just had this other guy, Lawrence Reed, who just set a woman on fire on the CTA. And he is so tone deaf that he is standing up there at a press conference the following day talking about how safe the city is.
Because our communities have been becoming safer, and this is a setback. It's something that, of course, that I am absolutely frustrated and, quite frankly, I'm angry about how this incident has caused the type of disruption and fear. But we have put some additional measures in place to ensure that people can enjoy the lights coming alive downtown as we transition into the holiday season.
Do you know if the shooting on Dearborn and the shooting on State, were they related? Were they both part of the team takeover?
So that reporter just asked, hey, there were 2 shootings last night, one on Dearborn, one on State. Do you know if these were related? But he's still talking about how safe the city is.
So at this point, our police department, is investigating. We don't necessarily have evidence to suggest that. What we do know is that both of these incidents have created a great deal of fear in our city, and I understand that as a father, as a husband, that there are so many families that are coming back to the city of Chicago to hang out, looking forward to the holiday season. So we're clearly in the midst of investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of it. There were 18 arrests that were made last night. Our police officers, our first responders did a really solid job showing up as quickly as they possibly could. But I just want the people of Chicago to know that our police department, my administration, we're going to continue to go through this investigation process, and the people who need to be held accountable, we're going to work hard to make sure that that actually becomes the reality, because we don't want any setbacks as it relates to the progress that we're making as a city.
And the unfortunate thing when he says right there, we don't want any setbacks, he's just worried about the PR. He's just worried about, he's not going to be able to go out and say, hey, we just had the safest summer. Look at how all the progress that I've made. We don't need the federal government to intervene. This is just a PR campaign to him, because he knows that the violence that's been happening in the city over the last week, it's a black eye to his administration right during the time that he's trying to get these budget negotiations taken care of. And he's really getting a lot of pushback on that. I have another video I want to show you really quickly where he was at a press avail and he got some pushback from one of the reporters. Take a look at how petulant he was during this exchange.
Thank you.
Wait,
Do we have another question?
I have a follow-up to that. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same alders. One of them is Pat Dowell, your finance committee chairman. She made it very clear, Garbage tax, grocery tax, and property taxes are off the table. So I'm not sure who alderman you're talking to. Can you tell us who you're talking about that says they're going to raise property taxes?
Any alderman who comes to me at this point that's referring to more cuts and efficiencies, they're talking about laying off law enforcement. I'm not going to do that.
They say that's not what they're going to do. I mean, so why are you saying that if they're saying that that's off the table?
Thank you.
He's just the worst. He just can't handle the pressure of this moment. He's getting it from every side, every angle. He's not getting the support he needs for his budget. He's not getting the support from the voters and the citizens of the city of Chicago. He keeps having these violence keeps happening in the city, even though he's saying he's trying to build the biggest, most affordable, safe city in America. He's just not the right person for this job. Can we just, you know what, everyone who lives in the city of Chicago, even if you're outside of the city of Chicago, just send an email to city council, send an email to the mayor's office and let him know, step down. It's time to resign. Let someone else take over this job. You're not the right man for the moment. And I guarantee you, we're going to continue to see this violence metastasize throughout the holiday season. He doesn't have a plan. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm going to put this video in the playlist of all of the videos I've done on Brandon Johnson and on the city of Chicago, so you can go ahead and binge watch those. Like I said, let me know in the comments. Just the wrong man for the moment. I appreciate you for hanging out this long. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Jump in the comment section. Let's have this conversation. I'll catch you in the next one.